Alright guys, Turner Burner here with another video for you guys. I'm going to go over the skill cards for Horde and Escape for Kait. She's a very dominant character in both game types, I should say. Depending on how you use her, she can be excellent in Escape, and we already know what she is in Horde, even though she's been nerfed severely. But yes, let's get right into it. So I used to be a heavy Horde player. Now I'm a heavy Escape player. But most of you know me from the Escape perspective. So but long story short, what I like for her in Escape is I'm not even really going to touch on the obvious bleed cards because everyone knows about blood resonance and laceration. But the cards that are critical in Escape are Chain and Cloak Batteries. Chain, I think it was called something else. I can't think of what it's called. Used to be called, but it's called Chain now. What it used to say though, and I remember I never liked it, is if Kait kills bleeding enemies, that extends her cloak. So the problem with this is Kait's a bleeding character as it is. If she shoots an enemy, then she loses her cloak. So it is up to the teammates of yours to bleed the enemies around Kait's cloak while she's cloaked, and hopefully those bleed characters at that time, 50% for Keegan and 50% for JD, don't kill those enemies. Anyway, as you can see with my explanation, it was pretty stupid. But what it is now is excellent. It's killing enemies extends cloak by level 4. It's 2.4 seconds. It may go as high as 2.8. I don't know. Let's see what the next increment. It may be 2.6 at level 6. Excuse me. We'll see. I don't know. But ultimately, what makes her dominant in Escape is Chain and Cloak Batteries. Chain and Cloak Batteries. These three, honestly, I don't even really care about these three that much. It's really just these two. I could get rid of these three altogether and still have a dominant game with just these two. Mainly because she can meat shield or execute, doesn't really matter on a regular level if it's a meat shield or not, so many enemies at once. There's clusters on multiple maps where there's a bunch of drones, a bunch of elite drones, a bunch of elite snipers, where she can just wipe out the whole territory in a matter of seconds, and do it completely undetected. That is, no other character can do that. And that's highly useful on a master Escape level where everything is so lethal. At least during a period of time, she, as long as, she's not hit by a stray bullet, from a bullet trying to aim at her teammate, she's not going to get hurt, and she can kill a lot while invisible. This also works well for meleeing juvies, as an example, but she can't shoot in her ultimate. That's the thing. But yeah, if you watched my recent score run, 131 was decent time, but the Kait saved us. Without the Kait, these two cards, the Kait wouldn't have been able to, meat shield all the elite drones and kill all the enemies that were completely converging on us. So you could use this as a part of a strategy. You could use it for an emergency, but I can't stress these two cards enough. But I do have to talk about other skill cards, so let's get into the video. So Laceration, basically a bleed card for Shotgun or Overkill. Some people think it's only Nasher, but it is for Nasher and Overkill. So you can use this card simply if you have those two weapons at your disposal and you want more bleed damage. Chain, tied for first for my favorite skill cards for Kait. While she's in her cloak, it extends her cloak if she gets kills in her cloak. She can melee juvies. That doesn't, I'm almost positive that doesn't cause her to reveal herself, but she cannot shoot anything. Shooting stuff completely ruins it. Blood resonance, Yeah, if it stacks well with laceration, so she basically has 2 bleed cards to keep it very, very simple. But these bleed cards don't work as well as they used to, but they're there, and they're still good for escape or horde. But like I said, for escape, the 2 cards that really, really matter I've already mentioned. But again, having bleed couldn't hurt, downing enemies, killing enemies from a distance, so things of that nature. Cloak batteries allows her to have a longer cloak. Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah, mine isn't even level 6, so if it was level 6, it would be even longer. So, I believe you need this to stack with chain. I don't know her. I've always had this on, so I don't even know how long her cloak is without it. I mean, maybe if the player is good enough, they can use chain on its own and still do a lot of damage without cloak batteries because they're getting kills fast enough, but I think it's good insurance to have cloak batteries on. Custom Nasher stacks is a 25% increased damage and active effects. It will stack well with Laceration and Blood Resonance to create 3 damage cards, which is highly, highly useful, as long as there's a Nasher in the map. Ice Queen, my favorite, has a Nasher. Malfunction, is that right? Yeah, Malfunction has a Nasher. The new map Ambush has a Nasher once you kill the first Grenadier. So maps that have Nasher, this will be useful for it. Epic score boost speaks for itself. If you're doing a score run. If I ever have to be Kait, I'll probably just pay for it as opposed to trying to earn epic score boost because it takes way too long to earn epic score boost for some reason. Healing Jolt, picking up energy heals for 30%. I noticed it being very useful in earlier waves in Horde. This is a Horde card specifically. But I think the damage is too high the later the waves get. You could still use it if you do a cloak, chain and cloak batteries, and then you get out of the cloak and you're still with a bunch of enemies. But your teammates are killing things from a distance, so you can pick up those energy to heal yourself as you try to make it back to your base, or you can stay out there and still try to kill stuff in the thick of things. As long as you kill stuff fast enough to pick up the energy, it'll be worth it. I don't know if I've ever used this card actually. Stem capacity increased by 200%, excuse me. She has a stem card. She has 2 stem cards. So depending on how you play, so this one says enhanced stem. I'm gonna talk a little bit out of order to support the card I just mentioned. So let's review. Stem batteries is where I'm at. Stem capacity is increased by 200%. Enhanced stem 50% resistant to damage while stem, so it makes your stem stronger than just losing your stem immediately. Reaper, executing enemies gives you 45% stem. So if you keep executing, you're gonna have these three cards combined together well. You keep executing, it'll allow you to have less damage while you are stemmed, and your stem capacity overall is increased. So those cards will work together well. You just have to figure out which ones you want to sacrifice. But since those cards are 3 cards, you could have those 3 and then have cloak batteries and chain, and that could be your stack. And that could be a very, very good stack, actually. So anyway, so next card I'm going to talk about is Overkill Ammo Capacity. Simply stated, if you stack this with the 3 bleed cards, the 2 bleed cards, you can have a lot of overkill bleed damage. So yeah, it's a good card. Driven, I haven't used since I started using Kait. 30% damage resistance from explosives. On the master level, like I always say, if it's 1 health card, doesn't work that well. Now, she has 2 technically. So enhanced stem and driven, if she is stem, she's 55% resistant to damage. So if a salvo sounds shooting at her, she's probably not going to die on the first shot. Maybe the second or third, but they spam, so it's all the same really. So you'd have to just try it. Again, if you're going to use that card, you got to use enhanced stem which kind of controls your whole stack if you're using the stem cards. So so you just got to pay attention to that. So yeah, next thing is long reach, 500% increased power pickup distance. I thought this said something else before. I could have sworn this card said like a longer revive, like you could revive your teammates further from a distance. I did not notice they changed this card. I apologize. Anyway, you can pick up power from a distance. Obviously, a card for Horde, you just have to figure out what you want overall. Gosh, I hate this card. I used this card one time thinking it would give me an, and this is when I was newer, an active, an automatic active reload or something like that, or help me reload faster, like actually reload faster. But it really just makes the bar where you can active longer. It's really not it's really not that great. I mean, by now, since Gears 2, I have a problem activating for the most part, but it's not that much of a problem where I need to use this card. So I just think, just pretend that card isn't even there. Because honestly, when it said speed loaders before, I thought, oh, I'm gonna reload faster. It's gonna be great for Horde, but it never meant anything. So score boost speaks for itself. If you need to go for a score run, use that and the epic score boost. Already talked about Reaper executing enemies gives 45% stem, and overkill stock 90% reduced recoil. Useful for any map that has overkill. Someone commented on one of my other videos saying you don't need this card. But it depends on how you play. If you're slow shooters of the overkill, or if you're spammers, I don't think it matters as long as you win the game. I think that's the priority. But yeah, it'll help you have less recoil when you shoot overkill. So, and it's definitely noticeable as well. So that's it for Kait. There's a player that's really good who I play with for score runs that typically uses Kait. So I'll have to refer to him for more information if I'm missing anything. But ultimately, she's an excellent character, and mainly because chain and cloak batteries. If you're not using these two cards, you are missing out on some easy master victories. I promise you. So. Not to mention, meat shielding 10 elite drones in a matter of 30 seconds. It's awesome. So, but that's it for this video for Kait. If you have any questions or comments about something I've missed, because I am not perfect, or something I said inaccurately, or something you misunderstood, or whatever, if comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Probably should talk about JD eventually. But yeah, that'll be the next one, JD. So stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching, guys. You have a good one.